Good evening, my name is Kacper Paradowski and you're watching Poland Daily News. During an annual press conference for journalists from all over the world, the President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, referred to the events leading up to the outbreak of the Second World War. While speaking about the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, which resulted in the partition of Poland by Germany and the Soviet Union, Putin returned to the Stalinist revisionist stance on the matter.
Vladimir Putin stated that the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact wasn't the reason for the outbreak of the Second World War. The reason was the Munich Agreement. Putin emphasized that Poland used the Munich Agreement to implement the territorial claims concerning the area of Zaolzie.
It is what the secret protocols say about the partition of Poland. Poland itself took part in the partition of Czechoslovakia. The Soviet army entered Poland in accordance with the secret protocols. I would like to stress the fact that they entered Poland after the Polish government lost control over its army. The government was located on the Polish-Romanian border, so there was no one to talk to.
The Institute of National Remembrance and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs wrote a statement in response to Putin's words.
We note with concern and disbelief the statements of representatives of the authorities of the Russian Federation, including President Vladimir Putin, regarding the genesis and course of World War II, which present a false picture of events. The Republic of Poland, which regained its independence in 1918 after 123 years of captivity and exploitation by the partitioning countries, Austria, Prussia and Russia, consistently pursued a policy of balance towards both Germany and the Soviet Union.
Putin's words aroused a lot of controversy among most of the politicians, as they say we should speak loudly about what happened in our country during the Second World War.
It was the Germans and the Soviets who murdered Poles on September 17th. They were occupying Poland until 1941. Vladimir Putin does not want to remember that. Let's remember that according to Russia, the Second World War started in 1941 when Adolf Hitler attacked the Soviet Union.
According to the advisor of the President of Poland, Paweł Sałek, these false statements are a way for conducting even more developed historical politics.
It is very important to show the historical truth and take care of it here in Poland, but it is even more important to show and explain it abroad, in Europe and all over the world. Poland doesn't have a good opinion in historical politics, and it's bad because we should be proud of our history.
In his statement, Putin said that he's going to write an article about the events that happened before the outbreak of the Second World War.
Speaker of the Senate, Tomasz Grodzki, has become the new face of the opposition. In his activities on the domestic and foreign forum, he gets deeply involved in current political disputes. Meanwhile, the media still publishes reports about people who claim that the Speaker of the Senate demanded money under the table in exchange for medical services when he served as the head physician in a Szczecin hospital.
Representatives of the families of Professor Grodzki's former patients speak out about the money on which he conditioned the procedures. Marshal Grodzki himself declines the rumors and claims that he became the target of slander and has a clear conscience.
Above all, I settle accounts in my own conscience, and my conscience is clear. I will exercise all available legal means to defend my good name, and that is all I have to say in this matter.
Professor Grodzki's lawyer, Jacek Dubois, announced that he would take legal actions against persons infringing his client's good name. Grodzki's attorney demanded a correction, among others, from the editor-in-chief of Gazeta Polska.
A few dozen days ago, we received a letter in connection with a correction, which Marshal Grodzki wants to include in our newspaper. However, according to our lawyers, it absolutely does not meet the conditions for the correction, and we will not print it. First of all, the Speaker of the Senate should reflect deeply on his dismissal. To stand in front of cameras and talk about high matters in Poland at the time when ordinary people come crying and say how he took money from them for medical activities, that is a terrible contrast, a terrible thing when someone does such a thing.
Today, the politician assured once again of his innocence in an interview with Wirtualna Polska after more information from his former patients were published regarding his acceptance of material benefits. At 8 p.m., Marshal Grodzki is to give a television address. It is not yet known what topics he intends to raise.
Incumbent President Andrzej Duda enjoys huge support and a significant advantage over all rivals in the race ahead of the upcoming presidential election. These are the results of the latest presidential poll made by estimator for dorzeczy.pl. According to the poll, the current Polish president can count on the support of 46.6% of voters. In the rankings, Małgorzata Kidawa-Błońska is in second place, but she has a lot of catching up to do, as she enjoys the support of only 22.4% of respondents. Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz is last on the podium at 9.2%. 8.3% of respondents want to vote for Adrian Zandberg, 7.9% for Szymon Hołownia, and 4.6% of respondents want to vote for Krzysztof Bosak. Only 1% of respondents indicated another candidate. The Christmas spirit is running high at Tropicarium Aquarium in Budapest, as its 7 sharks and various other fish living in the aquarium were lucky enough to receive a surprise visit by Santa Claus himself. 2 divers dressed as Santa Claus descended into the water carrying a Christmas tree. They arranged the tree at 4 meters deep at the bottom of the 1.4 million litre aquarium and decorated it with shells. Biologist and diver David Durbach said they started this tradition a few years ago, and each year, he says, the sharks enjoy this special day. The sharks usually really enjoy this. We are just happy if they do not knock the tree over immediately. We usually have to go down and adjust the tree from time to time, but other than that, they do not deal with it much. There are extra fish treats for the aquarium's 7 sharks, including tiger sharks and the other fish. We used to go down every Thursday to feed the sharks, but now we try to feed them from the surface with a manipulating feeder in order to entice them to come one by one and not en masse. But this year the aquarium is introducing a new routine to teach the concept of queuing. Instead of being fed in the tank, the sharks will now have to swim up one by one. 2 of the sharks just reached the sexually mature age of 1.5 years, which makes them very dominant, and this is why we try to entice them to come to feed one by one instead of rushing over on us, which was not good for the visitors either. They are now learning to queue one by one in an orderly way. If the sharks will manage to learn how to queue in a polite manner, they can expect to receive even more presents next Christmas. That is all for tonight. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for Poland Daily Business. Good night.